Konnichiwa. This is the Shogunstein, and this is a look at the game Let's Go to Japan from AEG, designed by Josh Wood, based on his planning of a trip to Japan, but because of the pandemical, back in, I guess, in 2021, he was unable to go at that time. And the Shogunstein and Little Shogunstein and Mrs. Shogunstein were just in Japan, where we had to plan. We planned the trip on our own. So the theme of this game, one, I do like Japanese themed games to start with, but also the idea of planning a trip to Japan, including the theme in this game is you got basically two places. You're going to go back and forth between Kyoto and Tokyo, which is basically what we did on the trip. We did 8 days, and then we later went to Singapore and Malaysia on that trip. But we flew into Narita, spent 4 nights in Tokyo, and then took the Shinkansen to Kyoto, used Kyoto as a base for Himeji and Nara and Osaka. So let's take a look at what's in Let's Go to Japan. It is for 1 to 4 players. There's some drafting and passing of cards, but basically you are designing your trip to Japan. You're going to be planning out Monday through Saturday, and you'll be passing cards back and forth. You can get bonuses along the way. In some of the videos I watched on people who played the game, the scoring seems a little complex at the end. So we'll let you know what we think about that once we get this to the table. Here you go to Fushimi. This is the Torii Gates. This is that famous place in Kyoto. I would have liked to have spent more time here on this trip, but that last day in Kyoto, we actually were on a tour, and we had about an hour and a half here. It was very crowded with, looked like mostly mainland Chinese tourists. We were there in June. There was a heat wave, end of June to basically in the end of June, mid to end of June, and then we were headed into Malaysia. Very crowded with tourists, some European tourists or some Americans on the plane going to watch some baseball games, which is one of the things you can do in this game. But a lot of tourists from mainland China during this trip, so this was very, very crowded as we were trying to walk through the Torii Gates. There were a lot of young Chinese cosplaying as like geisha and Edo era Japanese history. It was interesting to see, knowing the history between Japan and China, and historically, especially World War II, just what Japan did to China during the war. But anyway, very crowded. This would be something I'd like to do again, maybe on my own, not part of that tour. We did a city tour where I can walk through those gates for a while, not just kind of have to walk for an hour and go back. It was very crowded. Even like the walking from the bus to the shrine was very crowded. So in this game, you can do 13 rounds. First part of the game, you're going to play 1 card, pass 1, play 2 cards, pass 2, play 1 card, pass 1, and then there is a rather complex scoring. So plenty of good videos to watch to learn how to play. Rule book is pretty easy to follow. You're going to see your trip is going to be based on some categories here. You got food and drink here. You got your sushi. You're going to have your shrines. You got the Torii Gate. You're going to have your gardens. We visited beautiful gardens in Himeji and at Edo Castle. Certainly your shopping, going to Don Quixote and plenty of the other great places to shop. Kyoto Station, Shinjuku, and then your unique experiences. Okay, you got some wild cards, and then this is a walk. Nothing like walking. You got to do some morning walks in Ueno. The thing I'm most curious about is the cards to see what's covered. Again, you're going between Kyoto and Tokyo. So there's plenty of places in Japan that are not in Kyoto or Tokyo. So the cards are going to be, there's a lot of cards here, but they repeat. But you're going to be limited to those cities. And then there's a train mechanism. If you go from city to city, get on the Shinkansen, the bullet train, it was basically 2 hours. But depending on how you use these, you can either gain 2 points, or if you use too many, instead of earning them, you're going to lose 2 points on end of game scoring. Getting the JR pass, we weren't sure about on this trip. We ended up not getting the JR pass. Still not sure if that was the best thing or not. Well, again, I had been to Japan in 96, 98, 2001, 2003. It was not nearly as crowded as it was on this last trip in 2025. I remember being able to just go up to the station and getting a bullet train Shinkansen ticket. Everything on this trip was all kinds of apps. You had to book everything in advance. Very crowded in Japan. And it deserves it because it's a great place to go. We had a great trip. So, again, let's take a look here. You got the Silver Pavilion. Again, a lot of these cards repeat. Again, a lot of people do like to go during the cherry blossom. So lots of temples, especially in Kyoto. I didn't make it here on this trip. Was there in 96. Obviously, the Golden Pavilion was there in 96. Went back in this last trip, and it was raining. It was raining pretty hard. That was we did have a heat wave when we were there, but then the morning of the Golden Pavilion, it poured. So it was beautiful to see the Golden Pavilion, but it was not the pristine weather I would have liked. But again, I had been there once in 96. It was the first time Mrs. Shogunstein, little Shogunstein, got to see the Golden Pavilion. Oh, we were here. This was another place that was very, very crowded. And again, some European, but just busloads of Chinese tourists. Just again, was very surprised. Good, maybe relations between Japan and China are improving, but there's a whole series of streets and steps you walk up to get here. And this temple's beautiful. You got those, they got the little well where you go to and you drink 2 out of 3. But beautiful temple in Kyoto. But it was work getting up there, just how crowded it was. We did not get here. Again, this, as I was showing you here, this is the Fushimi Inari Shrine with these torii gates. This is a representative of that you're in a Shinto, which is an animistic native religion to Japan. You're in a Shinto holy place, and you can walk up here for a while going through these torii gates. Again, we didn't have time to do the thousands. We only had time to go maybe an hour. So I'd like to go back and do that, maybe when it's less crowded. Here we go. We walked over here when we were in Gion. Tea ceremony. Did not do a tea ceremony this trip. Drank certainly a lot of ocha. Did not go to Kyoto Tower. Saw it from the Kyoto station. Not into the monkeys. One time I was on one of my trips, I think it was either 98 or 2001, went to Nagano with these monkeys coming right up to you. Maybe the only thing I didn't like doing in Japan was the monkeys. I didn't go to this one, though. The one I went to, I'm pretty sure it was in Nagano or Nikko. Bought a few manga. Didn't go to the manga museum. So so this is the, you walk up the steps heading to that beautiful temple, and lots of restaurants and shops and desserts. I had a nice drink. I think Little Shogunstein had some sort of like crispy chicken on a stick. Didn't do it. Did some tours. Did not have time to do any classes. The geisha. Again, I saw a lot of Chinese, young Chinese dressed as geisha. Did not see a real geisha in Gion. Was in Gion twice on this trip, and not a geisha to be seen on the street. When I was there in 96, I have a picture of me, and actually ran into 2 geisha that were nice to take a picture with me. You just don't see that anymore. I guess you can book like an experience, like almost like I don't want to say a tour, but you can sit down and hear their story. But I did not see any geisha on the street. Gion is a great place to walk around. The Kyoto Imperial Palace. So remember, technically the emperor is the ruler of Japan, but there are time periods in Japanese history where the emperor lost power and either the daimyos were fighting it out or there was a shogun. Kyoto. The Philosopher's Path. We did not do that. Did not make it to the Kyoto Railway Museum. Do that next time. That'd be kind of cool. Did not go to the market. Cool market in Kyoto Station, though. Did not make it here. 96, I stayed in a temple. Not this time. We did stay in a ryokan, very nice ryokan, but no temple lodging this time. We did make it to the bamboo forest. This was wonderful. This was not crowded. I think we hit a spot that was not as touristy, and it was really nice, really beautiful, really quiet. Definitely something you got to see when you're in Kyoto, the bamboo forest. We did a tour with Amigo Tours, which did a bilingual English-Spanish tour. Great. We spent the whole day in Kyoto that last day. Wonderful tour. Yeah, we did stay in the ryokan. Awesome. I'm the only one that wore the robe, though. Lots of Nijo Castle. Oh, man. So much history here with Tokugawa. And then it led up to the Osaka campaign, which I did a deep dive. Nijo Castle is definitely a treasure. Definitely a treasure. Here's another picture of Nijo Castle. We did walk down this area and near the Gion, near the river. Very nice, very nice. But again, just a little too crowded. Did not make it here. Did not make it here either. So much to do in Japan, not enough time. We had 8 days on this trip. So it'll be interesting to see how you're going to play this game and what sort of trip you're going to plan out. Onsen, didn't make it to an onsen this time. Again, I stayed in an onsen in Nikko in 2001. It was awesome. Next time, get to the onsen. That's the spring. Sake, certainly a lot of sake during this trip. Enjoyed the sake. We got to hit the shopping arcades, of course. No flea market. We were in the Don Quixote. Did not make it to the Kyoto National Museum. Did not do a drumming class. No festivals going. Take a hike outside of town. Well, we did Himeji. We were there the wrong time of year for the cherry blossoms. Ramen. Believe it or not, we did not have ramen on this trip. Did not have okonomiyaki twice. Lots of soba, but no ramen. Next time. Small shrine. Again, the shrines are everywhere. Photo sticker booth. Didn't do that. Gift. Well, certainly, again, Don Quixote. Lots of no cooking classes. Okay. What are they doing in Tokyo? Well, certainly saw a lot of anime. Did not make it to the anime museum. Did not make it here. Did not make it to Tokyo Tower. Of course, when here, beautiful, very crowded. It was a very hot day, but my friend Sugimoto-san took us on a beautiful tour. We got some shaved ice. Beautiful temple. Been there a long time. This is probably one of the most popular, most well-known places in Tokyo. Glad I got to go there. Did not make it to the Meiji Shrine this time. Did not go to the temple here. Lots of department stores. Did lots of shopping. The Ginza, fancy district. Shibuya. Oh, we had fun in Shibuya. We did the crosswalk. We did it that day and at night. We did not make it to the Starbucks, but we went up to the Skywalk and got to look down. Beautiful night in Shibuya. Went all the way up to the top of the building and looked across the whole Tokyo skyline. So, again, this was my 5th trip. It was Little Shogunstein and Mrs. Shogunstein's first. I'm not into the super touristy things, but the Shibuya Skywalk and just doing the crosswalk was definitely worth it. Sometimes there's a reason that's such a popular touristy thing to do. So highly recommend doing the Shibuya. Book ahead of time. Use an app. Book ahead of time. It sells out, but definitely worth a go at night. Mrs. Shogenstein, this is something that she wanted to see. She saw it in a movie, again, about the loyal dog. No sumo, unfortunately. No time for a baseball game. If I had more time, I would have gone to the Hanshin Tigers. I saw a Hanshin Tiger game in 98. Would love to go back to see some Japanese baseball game. When we flew out of LA to Narita, a lot of the people on the plane, Americans, were going to watch baseball. Now, this is supposed to be a good hack, whereas Shibuya, and I'm not taking anything away from Shibuya. Shibuya is awesome. But the Tokyo Metropolitan Building is free, and it's supposed to be a great view. We did not get there because it was a little difficult to get there from where we were in terms of buses and trains. But this is supposed to be a good hack to get a good view of Tokyo without having to deal with some of the pricings of some of the touristy places. So the Tokyo Metropolitan Building. Did not make it to Tokyo Tower. In 2003, when I stayed in Tokyo, I stayed right near Tokyo Tower. Did not make it to the park. So I did a beautiful tour. We had a tour that we booked online. We were the only two people on the tour. It wasn't supposed to be a private tour, but we ended up being a private tour. Excellent tour of the 47 Ronin Temple and the grounds and the gardens at Edo. Edo is Tokyo. This is when Tokugawa unified Japan and he moved the capital to Tokyo. So highly recommend going here. Again, the castle's not there, but you can see some of the remains of it and the beautiful gardens. Walked into a cat cafe, didn't eat there. Akihabara, our hotel was between Ueno and Akihabara. Walked into Akihabara several times. Now, as a board gamer, I got to be honest with you, a little disappointed with the board gaming in Akihabara. There was one store, very difficult to find. It was like on the 7th floor of a building that had like a McDonald's with like one elevator up. The big camera store had some games, but it wasn't as much board gaming as I would have liked in Akihabara. Loved Akihabara. Now, our hotel was between Akihabara and Ueno, so 2 mornings in a row, I got to walk to Ueno Park. Beautiful, got to watch the people exercising, just very relaxing. Got to go to the Tokugawa Shrine in Ueno Park. Little Shogenstein wanted to see the panda. I should have let him go. We just didn't. We didn't think there'd be time. There is a panda. We should have let him go. Probably the biggest regret, not letting him see the panda. Did not make it here. Oh, the vending machines everywhere. Again, some of the big camera store, the Taka, I forget the name of the street, very touristy street, had a big vending machine place in there. That was also maybe the only other part I didn't really like in Japan. There was this very touristy, kawaii stretch, but Little Shogenstein had fun with these vending machines. Didn't wake up early to see the sushi. Had some great sushi in Akihabara. Didn't have any street food, did not have any yakitori on this trip. Certainly had satay in Malaysia later on, but we did not have any yakitori. Now, this is a regret. I really want to stay in one of these capsule hotels, even for one night. I do want to give it a try. There was no capsule hotel on this trip. Tokyo Station, beautiful. We took the Shinkansen from Tokyo Station. Also, this is where our tour of Edo Castle started. Beautiful station again. If you're going to take the Shinkansen, book online, get the app, book the Shinkansen online. You can always change it. Didn't go to Tokyo National Museum, didn't get any kind of outfit. Oh, again, the crepes. Again, this was very popular on that very touristy street that we went to. Also, didn't have any crepes, though. Didn't make it here this time. Again, only 4 days in each place. There's so many things to do, only so much time. So I like the idea of this game because you got to see what can you cram in. What can you cram in? Didn't go to Kabuki. Maybe not my bag. A really nice hotel. Well, we stayed at a good hotel. Great location. Nothing fancy schmancy like this. And we stayed in the Ryokan in Kyoto. Again, top restaurant I did most of my eating at 7-Eleven, Lawson's, and Family Mart. Okonomiyaki I had a couple times. Lots of soba. Nothing fancy. I love Japanese food. I don't need anything fancy. Again, Lawson's and 7-Eleven, get an onigiri, get an ocha, get a green tea for breakfast, for lunch, then have a nice dinner. Not at a top restaurant, but some good old ramen, okonomiyaki. What else did we do? We had like a traditional meal in Himeji. Did I mention soba? I love soba. I could have soba the whole trip. Next time, we had sushi, great sushi in Akihabara, one of those revolving sushi. Actually, it came on a little train, to be honest with you. It was kind of neat, very neat. But definitely next time, ramen, udon, didn't get to do some of those things. Also, a little hack. Go to those department stores. It's usually in the bottom floors. They have a whole bunch of food. I don't want to say food court. They have a bunch of restaurants and food made, and you get some good deals there. Do this. There we go. Conveyor belt sushi. But again, this one was kind of new. It was kind of like an iPad, and came out on a little train. Didn't make it to the shrine. Didn't make it to the Valley Park. Didn't make it here. Do this. Not really time for street food. Soba. There we go. There we go. I don't remember having any tempura, but yeah, lots of soba. Cold soba. Again, no festival. So in the game, you have Tokyo, you have Kyoto, then you have these cards that are like neutral that'll go for either. You got to attend the festival, Sakura, small shrines, photo sticker. So obviously Josh Wood did his homework in planning the trip. So again, I enjoy what this theme is because I just had to do it. You know, we kind of decided in spring we were going to go to Asia. First we were going to go see Mrs. Shogenstein's family in Malaysia. And then we decided, hey, let's go to Japan. Then we decided let's stay in Singapore for a couple nights. Did 2 nights in Singapore, which was probably 1 night too much. Singapore is really nice, but not a lot to do. Nice that we got there. It was beautiful to look at, but you really only need, I think, 1 day, unless you're going to go to Universal Studios. But we had to plan the trip, and as an old guy, I started to plan it with Lonely Planet book and my memories of my past trips. But the big difference, and I don't know if Josh Wood in 2021, because a lot has changed since 2021. Everything is an app. I was able to book everything in advance, whether it be bullet trains, Shibuya, tickets to Himeji Castle, the tour of Edo and the 47 Ronin, and then for me the grand thing was I had a private tour, I had a private guide for a deep dive, like an 8-hour deep dive in Osaka for the siege, summer siege of Osaka Castle between the Toyotomi clan and the Tokugawa clan. So a lot of planning in the trip. My first time in Japan, I had 3 weeks, and it was planned for us, and we hit like all the major thing. We did a lot in those 3 weeks. Most people do not have 3 weeks. I don't have 3 weeks anymore. I had 8 days. In this game, you got Monday through Saturday. So what are you going to do? You're flying all the way from, in this case, the United States to Japan. It's a long flight. It was like 12 hours. Now from here, from Phoenix, you got to fly Phoenix to LA, LA to Narita. It's a long way. So it's a long flight. You only have so many days. There's so much to do. So much I want to go back and do it. I've been to Japan 5 times. So looking forward to playing this game. Only thing I'm curious about is the scoring. They give you a score pad to try and keep track, and just from the playthroughs I had seen online, it seems like the scoring is a lot. There's a lot to the scoring here. So this is a look at what's in the box. Let's go to Japan with some of my personal insights on my trip to Japan. And I would just say this, a very famous game deals with Japan is the White Castle from De Vere. That's Himeji Castle. That's an hour on the bullet train from Kyoto. You got to go there. I see there's no Kyoto card for Nara. That's like 30 minutes outside of Kyoto to go see the deer park, and the Daibatsu, the big Buddha. Osaka is only like 15, 20 minutes from Kyoto. And don't forget Tokyo. You got Nikko, Kamakura, Yokohama. So there's a lot of things to add to a trip to Japan besides these two cities. But if you're thinking of going to Japan, this might be a fun exercise. And if you look at some of the flavor text, you might decide, hey, I want to include some of these things on my trip to Japan. And I know certainly we did 8 days, and there's still things I didn't get to see or didn't get to go back to that I can't wait to go back, with it being a year or two. And maybe just try to hit a time when it's a little less crowded and hopefully not a heat wave. There was a really big heat wave when we were there in mid-June. Now I'm from Phoenix, so it wasn't as bad for me because I'm used to the heat, but it was still hot. Anyway, we really enjoyed Japan this summer. Don't want to forget that I got to spend time in Malaysia. Maybe there's a game out there with Malaysia or Malacca. We can talk about that. And again, we got to go to Singapore as well. Anyway, this is the Shogunstein Let's Go to Japan, AEG, Josh Wood, Shogunstein out.